Political campaigns intensify with 77 days to go for the 2016 general elections. The two major political parties, the NPP and the NDC, are making very juicy promises to win the votes of the Ghanaian electorate, while the ruling NDC is urging Ghanaians to retain the party in power. The NPP is asking Ghanaians to replace the NDC with the NPP for a better Ghana.
This the human capital in Ghana. We need them, as many nurses as possible, as many teachers as possible.
The destiny of a nation is not necessarily about trial and error. If one system is working, just as has been acknowledged in terms of the infrastructure that we have seen, I believe that we give that particular system the chance to continue.
The NPP flag bearer Nana Addo Akufo-Addo has kick-started his campaign in the Greater Accra region. Julius Deborah is also representing Preston Mahama in the NDC's Upper West region campaign tour. Plus, the PPP flag bearer Pakwesi Indom also seeking for some votes in Accra. Now, question, what difference have they been telling Ghanaians this time round? We'll be hearing from these political parties and also do some independent analysis of the various promises being made. This is today's big story. My name is Aisha Bryan. Among the promises being made by the NPP flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo is a fresh pledge of $1 million annually for every district to help execute developmental projects across the country. He's also been talking about the nurses' allowances and teachers' allowances. We'll get you his voice very soon, but we can also listen to the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, who's representing the president in the Upper West region.
We've gotten to a stage where we can't only rely on the using of hoes and machetes to have our farms prepared. And so as part of his plan, he intends introducing what we call the agricultural mechanized centers, whereby in this area we can have as many as possible agricultural machinery, which will be made available to potential farmers who are interested to undertake agriculture. The kind of agriculture that we are envisaging is the agriculture that will be attractive, especially to the youth and to everyone. For example, it should be possible for somebody leaving school to have their farm through what we have the block farming system or the youth in agri program, where they will have access to this machinery to plow. The issue about governance, when the system is working, we keep it going. And that is more reason why if you go to places like China, you go to Malaysia, you go to Singapore, they were able to achieve what they've achieved because they kept a particular government that were doing something right to continue. The destiny of a nation is not necessarily about trial and error. If one system is working, just as has been acknowledged in terms of the infrastructure that we have seen, I believe that we give that particular system the chance to continue with the process that they want to bring. It is true that not everyone will comfortably say that they've gotten enough monies in their pocket, but it's systematic, and we believe that giving President Mahama the second time, he will be able to lead us to achieve this wonderful objective that we set for ourselves as a nation.
On the phone line is Latif Idris, my colleague, who's been following the NPP flag bearer Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. Will get his soundbite soon. But let's listen to Latif, who's been following his campaign. Good evening to you, Latif. Where has the NPP flag bearer visited so far, and what new has he been telling Ghanaians?
Yeah, Nana Addo is not alone on this campaign trail. We must mention that he's joined by party bigwigs. We have Alan Semantin, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, former ministers of state, MPs, and party executives who have joined the flag bearer on this campaign trail. Now, nothing much has been said that is new on this campaign trail so far. What Nana has been saying essentially has to do with his policy plan of coming up with one district per region district and how to finance it. Today, Nana has reaffirmed his commitment to dedicate $1 million to help support these factories that will be created across the districts in the country to bring about developmental projects within Ghana. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was also speaking on one of the platforms, mentioned that if voted into office as president, Nanado would ensure that nurses and teacher training allowances that has been scrapped by the Mahama-led administration will be reinstated within the first 3 months of Nanado-led administration. So one would say that is a new thing that the NPP has mentioned today, that in the first 3 months of the administration, they would reinstate the nurses and the teacher training allowances come January 2017, Aisha.
Well, many thanks to you, Latif Idris. We're waiting for the full report when you return from this trip. Now, we can speak with Rafiq Salam, who is following the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, who is representing President Mahama on the NDC campaign tour in that region and who's been urging the people to retain the NDC. Good evening to you, Rafiq. What is the latest from the NDC campaign tour in the Upper West region?
The latest is that the Chief of Staff is now on the floor. He's now talking at Durumu, located in the West District of the Upper West region. Earlier, he visited Wichau, which is the capital, and he spoke to chiefs and opinion leaders in that particular community. The concerns that the people are raising has to do with education, has to do with water, and also the nature of the roads in that particular community. Remember, this particular district is one of the poorest districts in the country. And so after that, the Chief of Staff said that he has heard, and then whatever concerns that they have, he will take it to the president for them to address. But he talked about the need to retain the NDC government in power. He talked about people or other opposition parties who want to be given that opportunity as trial, and he's saying that governance is not about trial and error. And so from there, he moved to Durmo, where currently we are in now, and then he met he's currently meeting with the chiefs and people there. The Durmo now, who is the president of the council here, and now Gorodana the second, spoke about bad roads, also talking about the national cake, and he's saying that as they are not getting a fair share of the national cake, and then he spoke about the need to have a district and a constituency created for the people of Durmo. And then the regional minister, Amin Suleimano, got up and said that he doesn't agree with him because he believes that the Durmo Province has gotten a fair share of the national cake. He talked about the Gamboso water project, which is a stone throw away from Durmo. He talked about one of the new senior high schools which is being built at Durmo, and a host of other projects that have been sent to that particular province. So now the Chief of Staff is talking, but he's urging the people to give the NDC government another chance. But I can tell you that the turn-up here is massive, massive from Wichau up to Durmo, and then people are really happy with the visit of the Chief of Staff.
Thanks so much for the update. Rafiq Salam is our correspondent from the Upper West region. Also, the PPP flag bearer, Pakwesi Indum, has been justifying why the party must be giving a chance in the 2016 polls.
Yeah, Ben, so what you hear to no one in the gua, and my yachts in a hole, but I want to see. Now, Otikan, Reverend James Berfi, Onye Obia, your petty as in a bachelor one. Now, yes, Rowan, the one. Now, one can ask some swing chair, Obiara. Now, one to Abano, now, Uncle and Breshebogum, and Farmer one or Madina Hanum. And the Reverend James Berfi, all of them. Now, as summer as in a Nina Okesi Ejumado. Okesi Ejumado. Osende se Ejuma ni kroma. E kronomo oyede yempa so na abrabo so oya reho. Ejuma so na oba odisikaba. Ejuma na oba o ma abrabo okoye odumanye hinara. Enti meye bi sanye de. Won hwe obia mejezire obia baba NDC for baba, MPP for baba, PNC for baba. Na so obiara da mayan so ya Progressive People's Party for yabe. Won bi sanade. Abadze na wa ye da. Obehye hunkran. De eto aba man na okwa abenima. Obokwa aka ya bibi papa ma wa abrabo wetumpon. Ayan ye nzinye de ayan ya ye bi. Wagana mem ya ye bi. Yanoma ye de amanye ku na nyime ni na ya ye bi wo hen wiadzim ono na yesi wonjina do na wonhwe ono na wonfonto aba na wonfama hem na de ma ya ye bi ama edwuma abaga na mem no se aba ne sika kase obesi hen sema ye de baye nzama akase ama edwuma pi wa aba ama nyipa no ho waton nti me ya kan de mema obi ntse obi a orba no ho ba obi a oba no ba na onye bida want to abama enyan yesterday bi no we doers and bi no we promises enyan ye doers so send ye bida onu ana ye pede anope ye baka kira won the enwan won hia papa nara o send ego mahazi obi a oti aya madina na nenchancha ne hinara obagwaim oba nso anwara na wonye won tinkita ho enti sa won woji hentum na obiara ba na waka kira nda afi won to abama PPP a yebenya dom yenya dom so na woto abama he na nkunyimzi no obeye PPP neza.
Let's do some analysis now. And David Agbe, Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security, joins me in the studio. Good evening to you, Dave.
Yes, good evening,
Thanks
Aisha.
for your time on today's big story. Now, electioneering campaigns are heating up, and I'm not surprised at all because we've got 77 days to elections. What else do you expect? But a lot of promises are being made by the various political parties, some realistic, some non-realistic. I mean, what's your assessment of all these promises that these political parties are making?
Yes, Aisha, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think that all the political parties are carrying themselves very well now. For us, of Ghana Institute of Governance and Security, the political system, is our laboratory. And so we are monitoring closely all the political parties and what they are, promising to Ghanaians. You just listen to Dr. Papa Kwesindu, so eloquent.
Right.
I mean, he crafted his message, said that, any ordinary person will be able to listen and pick something from him. Quite recently, we witnessed the NDC launch their manifesto. And then Nana Akufo-Addo also hitting the grounds, good one. Dr. Edward Mahama is also on grounds, doing what he could do, and Ivor Green Street and all those people. They are all trying to market themselves, and that is what politics is all about. Let us try as much as possible to craft a statement which will be able to, more like sit with the citizens. The citizens want to listen to a message that they could also identify themselves with. And so now that we are monitoring the political parties, launching their manifesto, manifesto is a very important, for any political party. I mean, into political science, manifesto starts, as far back 1844 that, Marx and Co. started talking about manifesto. And so manifesto has been very instrumental. And political parties, manifesto happens to be the marketing tool. And so you'll be able to pick a manifesto from any other political parties. For instance, NDC. Today I went to their party headquarters to find out whether I can get a copy of their manifesto. And I couldn't. None of them happens to get even a single manifesto. Okay. I mean, it is only what the president, announced at the Sunyani.
Okay.
I mean, I went round searching for their manifesto. You could not, even trace a copy of it. And so we are waiting for MPP to also come out with their manifesto probably next month for us to, sit down and digest and to be able to diagnose what are the policy alternatives that the MPP is also bringing onto the table. Now, we are listening to the NDC because it is a new one which has been launched. We are waiting. We are expecting that by now, if the manifesto has been launched, by now they should be able to circulate it to institutions like Joy News, Joy FM, TV3, and all other institutions, research institutions, academia, for them to be able to look at the policy statement or the manifesto and be able to do analysis. Manifestos are not supposed to be kept in somebody's bedroom.
Right.
When you are able to circulate it among the people who have the mindset to be able to digest it, then they will also use it, to be able to educate Ghanaians that this is the policy that the NDC is talking about. When you talked about the economy, what are they going to do? When it comes to health, what are they talking about? When it comes to education, what are they talking about? So you don't just keep, manifesto in your bedroom. No.
Discourse with these
documents. It is not only the intellectuals. Intellectuals will speak about it, but the ordinary man in my village also need to take part. Don't forget that this year, somewhere in April, we issued a statement challenging all the political parties that what we have realized is that they wait until 2 months before the election before they come out with their manifesto. And in political system and to democracy, we don't do that. You need to let the citizens appreciate what you are talking about. Let them buy into your message. Let them listen attentively and be able to make a choice for themselves. So if you are able to launch your manifesto earlier, you are trying to let the citizens feel part and parcel. They will have that sense of belonging to be able to diagnose and be able to identify which political party do I have to actually, vote for. So it is very instrumental in this political game.
Now, one of the interesting events has been the back and forth between the NDC and the MPP. Whilst the NDC promises new things in 2017, the NPP says that you have promised, you've had some promises in the past, in 2012, and you have not fulfilled them. These promises have found themselves back into the 2016 manifesto, and that's the reason why they feel the NDC should not be taken seriously and that they must be kicked out of the system.
Aisha, let me tell you one sad story. You see, MPP as a political organization, they need to have, political strategists, political scientists to be able to tell them what they should do. You see, MPP has been in opposition from 2008 to now. Quite recently we heard they were talking about the fact that when they launch their manifesto, other political parties are going to copy it and all that. And I listened to it, I said, no, you need to be very serious in the political game. What you need to be able to do as an strong opponent is to be able to launch your manifesto 1 month or 2 months ahead before the ruling government, because the ruling government has every state machinery. And so opposition, party, you have to be very smart enough. Launch your manifesto, let the ruling government chase you with a message. Do the counter debate here and there. But now you have given a leverage to the ruling party to take the lead. Now you are organizing press conference to counter and do. No, when you do that, you are actually failing. Let the ruling party actually chase you with your message because you have taken the lead. And so the ruling government will say this and that and that. By then, people are paying attention to the opposition leader. But now they've given the leverage for the ruling government to set the pace before they are chasing. I listened to Mr. Ejakun yesterday, and I was not inspired by his message at all. I thought that he will be able to look into the political game very well and craft a message that will be able to challenge the NDC, what they are talking about. But reading through, and today I used almost about 10 minutes to read what has been captured in Daily Graphic, and I couldn't identify any strong words there that I could say, yes, this man understands the political dynamics of this
But what
country.
they did was actually to give a clear picture of what they think the real situation is, which they think the NDC has not painted.
Yes, of course. The NDC manifesto 2008, 2012, when you looked at it, they are talking about what they have done, what they want to do. And so into political communication, there are three variables that we looked at. What have you done? What are you doing? And what do you intend doing, which is futuristic.
For instance, one of the issues they raised with the broken promises, they say that the NDC promised to eliminate schools under trees in 2012, and that promise has found its way back into 2016 manifesto, which means that the 2012 promise was not fulfilled. And you think that's not worth discussing?
It is true that they are talking about that, and it is the reality on the ground that NDC promised 200 basic
community schools, and 10
now,
is
so far,
actually ready now.
10.
Exactly.
They've done only 10. I visited some of them
these
quite
are
recently.
issues that are
It is very
key.
important.
Yeah.
Very, very important that it is true that NDC has a broken, promises. But then that is why I said, you as opposition, strong political party, you need to take the step. Let the ruling government chase you, rather than the ruling government taking the pace before you do the counter. When you do that, I mean, people will not buy into your message very well. I thought that they could have been more smarter by telling Ghanaians that this is what Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and for that matter, MPP, would like to do, so that the ruling government will be chasing them, and then Ghanaians will be able to look at the policy alternative. But now the ruling government has set the pace. 1 month time before you will chase them with your manifesto. When you are doing that, by then the ruling government, if they are smart enough, just like today I went to their headquarters, I realized that no, the building is there, but the people inside, the organizational structure, people who needs to carry the message out there wasn't actually there. You ask this person, you don't even know the one that you have to talk to. I met colleagues, journalists there, and I was like, how could a political party, you've launched your manifesto and you don't seem to be more ready enough to be circulating your manifesto to organizations, institutions, media houses, for them to start propagating and be listening to your manifesto, what it talks about. You ask everybody. They don't seem to know what they are even doing over there.
Well, let's look at some of the interesting promises the political parties are making. I start with the NDC. One of the things the NDC seeks to do is to use oil revenue to improve on the National Health Insurance Scheme. And this has been challenged. Reason is that the NDC has not been able to properly account for the oil revenue, and so people think that the probability of using oil revenue to improve National Health Insurance Scheme is very slim.
To be honest with you, I don't trust NDC when they come to tell us that they are going to use the oil revenue, because the oil sector, they've not been able to negotiate properly for Ghanaians to get oil, benefit at all. We've been talking about this. The Flagstaff House, they have thousands of our copies of what are petitions to the president and so many. They know that the oil, from 2010 that Ghana, we started producing oil in commercial quantity. Ask what so far have we, gained from the oil? Less than 15%, and we are crapping. Whilst we have all these natural resources there, we are just clapping for, a meager oil revenue. So if they are talking about the fact that they are going to use oil revenue to, more like, help the National Health Insurance, what at all are we doing in the oil sector? I thought that they could have been more, stronger in terms of their negotiation skill. They are just giving the oil blocks just for that, as if, it is a gift. I don't know. People
we are not getting value for money.
Enough.
Now,
we are not getting enough from the oil revenue.
If you listen to the NPP flag bearer, today he makes a very interesting promise among the myriad of promises he's been making. He talks about $1 million that will be made available to each district annually for developmental projects. That sounds very attractive.
Very attractive.
How feasible is this?
You see, it is all about revenue mobilization. I mean, we are really challenged in our country, reading through the history of this country and understanding the political dynamics of this country. I could say that this country, what we need to do, the leaders are actually not doing that. I mean, how can we actually mobilize revenue? I mean, we have everything. God has given us everything that we need in this country. It is only our mindset which has been corrupted. Okay. People are not using their mind to better the living standard of this country. Ghana shouldn't have been a poor country, like this. If people are actually using their intellectual ability and be able to think strongly that this is what we want to do for the benefit of this country. So I think that there are a lot that need to be done. So if MPP is talking about $1 million for
one district,
district here and
for
there.
developmental
How
projects.
are they going to mobilize those resources now that Bawumia and co are talking about cutting down corporate taxes here and there? And I looked at it. If you are cutting down corporate taxes, saying that people are not going to pay tax here and there, where are you going to get those things? I think that Dr. Bawumia as an economist needs to be able to, looked into the issues.
The promises are juicy. They are good promises, but we need to question how they're going to mobilize funds to do this. Well, many thanks to you, David Agbe. That's all time will allow us. And we'll be talking about some campaign activities that's being intensified. 77 days to elections. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. This is today's big story. Have a good evening.